Sorry, I didn't want to just read your bio off, so I'm just condensing. She's a freshman in college. She'll be a sophomore?
Madeline's a junior.
Stop.
In college? Fuck.
It happens real fast, y'all.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Isn't she? Yeah, she's a junior. How many times have I moved her? Yeah, that sounds about right.
We need to have her on.
I finally just got
Get down to all her trauma.
Dude.
So we just had your mom on.
Yeah.
We want to hear it from your side.
She's really cool. Like, we just hung out in Miami for 5 days, and I'm like, dude, she's so cool.
Okay, forgive me. Glad you were early. Okay. Our guest today says she's a jack.
Well, hey guys.
Oh, sorry.
Jeez.
No, we don't do that.
I don't know what you do.
I don't either. I literally never know. From day to day.
We're about to find out.
We have no structure here.
Well, we've been here. You did that whole intro.
Oh, you want me to keep in the beginning talk?
No.
No.
Yes, we do the hi guys thing. Sorry.
Hey,
Hi.
you're gonna have to move on up.
Kathleen,
But like, do it in a way that you look comfortable. You look very uncomfortable.
Let me get you you want another, do you want another book on your?
Yeah, there you go.
Would you like your mic higher up?
No, it's fine.
Are you sure?
We should just start having people bring their own books.
I can't, it's like, can I just, I was here like 30 minutes before and ready and did the thing and it's still, this is what it is.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter. I'm always, well, I don't mean to like shit on myself, but it's just how the beginning of the podcast goes.
I have so many stories about shitting on myself.
Literally and figuratively.
Yes, all the way around that.
Shit myself and shit on myself.
Mm-hmm. Did that happen? Because my doctor, I was like worried about that. And my doctor basically was like, don't worry about it. And whenever I asked if it happened, she was like, just kind of shook her head like, shut the fuck up.
Are you talking about during labor? I was saying I've shit myself just, on a regular day.
On a regular basis, IBS.
Yeah.
Like when you're sick?
No, like I swear this is a fart and it's definitely not.
Yeah.
And it's too late.
Or my sphincter's just given up.
Do you have IBS?
I have IBS.
Do you want us to take this out or you don't care? I'm not judging it. Actually, I am, because this is like one, it's like
There's
one.
commercials about it. A lot of people have it.
No. I listen to a radio show every day where one of the producers has it and he talks about it all the time. And it's like my life, I have so little together that I'm like judging it a little bit, which is weird. I'm like, no, I don't have that. So, our guest today says she's a jack of all trades and a master of none. But my experience with her is that she's an incredibly bright light, a magnetic, positive energy in every situation. Just always a positive force. Every time I've come across her in the many years that we've been in the same general circle. She's a single mom to Madeline, who is a junior in college. I thought she was a freshman. That is crazy. I think the first time I saw her, she was like, she had to be 12 or something. That's just insane. She has a history in advertising and marketing, creative directing, and wearing any and every hat in that field. And now she's moving into a completely fresh phase and manifesting her next big adventure. Welcome, the absolutely lovely Ashley Earnhardt.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thank you for coming. During what sounds like just an incredibly busy, like this is a time, what sounds like the time that you're doing right now or the time that you're in is a time where I just wouldn't pick up my phone. So you're giving us an hour and a half of your time in the middle of that. And you filled out your whole bio and you're like your whole question sheet and
it was annoyingly long.
And you were early.
Lots of words.
So
very punctual.
Yes. All of those things deserve credit, I think.
Oh, yeah. And maybe, you just perfect time for a quick little mom therapy session before you're off on your next chapter.
What I was thinking. Yeah. I was like, all right, why not?
I'm trying to think of who else. You were like, I don't know, probably the East Nashville OG mom. Who else had a kid?
Really, for a while, I felt like no one did.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until probably 2009 or 2012 where I met at least one or two others. I don't want to name names. Maybe it's okay. I feel like everybody knows each other, but I didn't have any mom friends.
Yeah.
And I didn't really fit in with the school moms.
Right.
Necessarily.
Yeah. That's always a hard.
Yeah.
Finding it's like even if your kids get along, there's still the aspect of finding your people.
Right.
Yeah. the mom
And I
like,
finally
though?
did. I finally did. So thank God for that. There are some cool moms, though. You guys have talked to some really awesome women. Like, I've cried multiple times listening to this podcast.
Oh.
Because I know their stories, but, like, it hits differently when it's put out there, so.
Well, let's start with yours, shall we?
This is actually whiskey and not hot tea.
Oh, we should say, did you do the beach?
Oh, I went to Miami. It was probably the worst or best timed trip ever. Because it was like, I got snowed in Chattanooga. I had to come home and pack. And Rob was gone for a week to the Bahamas, and the pipes froze in our house. And I'm by myself packing up like an almost 5,000 square foot home alone with no running water. And I'm like packing for Miami and like trying to wrap my head around the fact that it's like, no, but I'm going to have fun in a few days.
Right.
And I'm also packing for like, you know, when you're moving, it's like that temporary moving, like, for like a month, you don't know where shit is. It's just everywhere. And then I'm having to leave stuff to stage the house. So it was like 14 levels of like Tetris over here. It's been awesome. But no, I went to Miami, and yeah, my daughter joined me.
Oh, fun.
And and it was cool because I didn't know everyone who was there. So I met some new friends, and yeah, it was awesome.
Cool.
And I think that's how I lost my voice. But you're in these loud places, and everything's like, in Miami. It was funny. We were walking to get coffee one morning, and Madeline goes, hey, Miami, hot tip. How about a place we can go and actually hear each other?
Yeah.
Like nice, soothing sounds. But we're all like yelling over each other and stuff. But
Yeah.
Yep. I hate that when I'm out and I'm like, I know I'm going to feel this tomorrow. Or sometimes I'll just be like, I can't talk anymore. I can't keep yelling. Like my throat it's maxed out.
That's kind of where I was yesterday. And I wanted to like call my parents and call, like, you know, you're on the phone with like everybody. You're having to like make, you know, utilities and new landlord. I haven't had a landlord in like over 10 years. So I'm like having to be on the phone, and I'm like barely kind of whispering because I was like, I have to do this podcast.
Podcast tomorrow.
Damn it. My mom called. I haven't talked to her in like a week and a half.
You're on vocal rest.
Yeah.
For us.
Mom, I'll call you after the podcast.
So honored.
Yeah. And like Rob and I, these are like some of the last few nights we have together. And so I was like, I can't have more than one Negroni. and I can't talk to you tonight, basically. Also, I had a little bit of a fever last night. I feel fine today.
Yeah.
But yeah, yesterday was a shit show. Who am I kidding? The past like little bit's been.
You like fully have the flu.
I know. God, I hope not.
Sorry, it's not funny. Bad joke day. Great.
Along with like check-in, how's your week going? You are in the process of moving out of Nashville.
Yeah, what's going on with you right now?
Oh my gosh. That's
What's new?
the most loaded question ever. Hold on. I had to take a sip of water for this one. I feel like Kathleen Turner with cat mouth.
Do you want to say what's going on with you this week? Do you want to go first?
Me?
Well, she has a moment to gather.
Oh, sure. I don't know. I mean, for everyone, it seems January is always tough because you're recouping from the holidays and the week where it was just like so cold. It's like hard. It's hard for me to get out of the house and do stuff and put on a bra and real clothes. And I will get in this space where I'm like, oh, it's okay. I can hermit up for the week. That's what January is for. But if I do it for too long, then it becomes a problem. And then I start to feel like, oh, I don't know how to get back into
The groove.
and then that can just lead to just negative self-talk of just like, you're lazy, you're whatever. I do feel like now that I have a full-time job with the car wash, it's actually been really helpful being like, oh, you're not just taking the kids to school and then you could like come back home and crawl back in bed if you want for a couple hours. It's like, oh no, I have to go to this meeting or I have to do this thing or get this thing done. So I'm grateful that this is like the first January specifically that I've had something outside of myself that's just like, well, sorry, you just have to be here and do this thing. Because even the podcast can be we can still kind of manage it on our own terms. And if for some reason I was like, I don't think I have it in me to do one this month or whatever, we'd be like, okay, it's not the end of the world. So having something that is truly keeping me accountable. I've also tried to be easier on myself in those weeks that I was just laying low and not doing much, and telling myself like, hey, this is not the permanent version of you.
Yeah.
It's like, just don't get you giving yourself a hard time on top of this is just going to make you idle more and harder. So like, let's try to not make it such a big deal. But for some reason, I'm always scared that I know it's just a phase and I'll get back into firing on all cylinders at some point. But for some reason, I'm always worried that when I stop, that it's never going to start again. Like, this is it. I'm just going to stay not firing on any cylinders.
That's what menopause is for.
Yeah.
Just give it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
take a deep breath.
I'm fine.
It's almost over.
Functioning and like just happy to be functioning a little bit.
I just want to hit like 5 points and not elaborate on them. I'm just going to say them and then you just do your thing.
Okay.
So I just want to tell you guys, like, so this is the last week, the 14th. My dad was diagnosed with what some people say is like the rarest, most aggressive form of skin cancer. And then I've had crazy hormone stuff going on. And Parker, where we were doing like school assessments, but he had one today. And I get like really nervous about those. And I didn't schedule it until the last minute because car wash stuff, Christmas, like January. Yeah. I haven't done any of like the stuff that I did last year in November or like September. I was like really on top of that. I was like last week going, oh, I've got to do all the application things and we don't even know, whatever. I am elaborating. Can't help myself.
That's why we love you.
Yeah. Then last night I was really like trying to get everything. Okay, I want to go to bed at this time and I'm going to do this. And every single thing is going to be laid out. So nothing is going to be stressful. So I can just be good vibes because Eric had a session today and couldn't go to the assessment with us. And again, I just get like nervous around those things and I really want it to go well. And I like overthink it. And then I just, squeeze it like Lenny and Mice of Men until it just, his eyes pop out. Just squeeze the moment and make it exactly perfect and dead.
So precious.
And at 2 a.m., Eric came in and there's too much detail that I'd just love to tell you about for no reason about the TV in our room. But he was looking for the remote and turned on the light on his phone. And he his schedule is probably 2 hours behind ours. So whenever I wake up in the morning, I'm very careful not to wake him up. There's this whole thing. Mm-hmm. And I would never turn on the light. I would just turn on the screen brightness, which he said that he didn't. Anyway, I was like, I don't normally react to things like that. I'm always like, whatever. I don't really care about being woken up, fall back asleep, but I was really stressed by it. And I went, and he goes, are you really upset? And I was like, yes. And just kind of went off about 2:30 in the morning. Anyway, I was so irate. I went downstairs and slept, sent 14 very upset texts. And then I fell back asleep. I did all that. Because he didn't say sorry or whatever, but that was never, anyway, okay. My handling was poor. And then I got up and everything else went all right. I was kind of doing okay, but then my vibe, Parker had to brush his teeth and I just am overly critical and I get so irritated. It's just boys are so different. I just don't understand how his brain works. Just why are you doing these things? And on days like that, then I don't handle that well. And, anyway, but he went fine. It went fine. He was great. Oh, and then when I got there, we had done the same assessment last year. It was totally different, the formatting. I told Eric, oh, you don't have to be there. It's this thing. We sit in a circle. It's no big deal. Well, this time they wanted to interview both parents.
Oh God.
Not really, but they wanted to talk to us and have a moment. And I was like, and I'm the kind of person that needs to prep for some shit like that. So I was like, I don't know. Oh God, I was so nervous. And that was 40 minutes before I was here than recording. I was just oh my God, it's the worst.
You're doing great. Look at you.
We're here anyway. So that was it.
You're wearing a great sweater.
Thanks.
Yeah, you did.
Thank you.
You looked really cute.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Also, there was some thing that happened at the school that every other parent knew about and I didn't know anything about. And I was
so,
it was so, I was like, and they were like, do you know? And I was like, I don't know what you're
just
talking
have
about.
to call. Just admit it.
Well, yeah, no, I did do that. But anyway, I'm going to write an email later, I think, and just be like, that I handled that poorly. I literally said, trying to joke, is there anything we can do to like increase it? He said, do you have any questions for us? Like, is there any, and I was like, anything we can do to increase his chances, or
What do you?
not the kind of thing. He answered it fine, but
where do you guys like to eat dinner?
Up.
Maybe I could slip you a gift card.
Literally, that was the question that I asked.
Y'all shop at Trader Joe's, or
Oh my God, I'm sweating.
Costco.
Just another day.
In paradise.
Great. Just handling everything.
I'm really proud of y'all.
Thanks.
thank you.
And you got little ones. Those are hard.
Ashley,
Okay.
how's your week?
What's going on with you?
Well, it took me a couple days to recoup from Miami, which was actually like one of the tamest trips I've ever been on. And did not get a tan because I went down there and it was so freaking cold the first 2 days.
My parents were in
Yes.
Florida this past week, and they were like, "It's too cold."
Yeah, it was not great. I was on the tail end of it though. I just remember being there on day one and I'm like marching to Zara and all the hoodies are like sold out and there's just this angry line of tourists and everyone's got like sweatshirts and like scarves and stuff. It was that cold.
Yeah.
I just was not prepared for it.
Yeah.
So, but then it warmed up, but we only got like a day and a half on the beach. But it was really fun and I think I needed that. But yeah, so I'm moving to Chattanooga on Saturday and selling our beautiful home that we just renovated and moved back in. It's killing me. But also ending an 8-year relationship in a very loving, kind manner. So, I mean, was it Gwyneth
Conscious
Paltrow?
uncoupling?
Yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin, conscious uncoupling. But yeah, so we pulled the trigger on that in the middle of November. And so it's been basically like November, December, and January kind of living with that reality. And then when you're like adults, like tried and true adults, it's like, all right, how do we go about doing this? And I'm a planner and as is he. But it's like, how do you dismantle an empire?
Yeah.
Or like something that you've built together. But it's actually been going really well, which is kind of leading me to think that it's the right thing to do. Because I think sometimes that the universe throws you way too many curveballs and it's, but like when things are, it's not like it's easy. These are not easy decisions. Right. But like with each one, it's been made very consciously and like with good intention. And it's like we both feel at peace. And so then you can make the next one. And then you're making a lot of short-term decisions, but you're also making like these really long-term ones on top of it. So it's tricky. I've never done this before. I mean, I was married and I got a divorce, but I felt like we were kind of like children.
Yeah. Yeah, because when I was reading your bio, you had Maddie at 26. Was that expected or was that out of nowhere?
What, both the kid and the divorce were unexpected?
The kid.
Oh, okay. You got married when you were 23.
I was almost 24. I was like 2 weeks shy of 24.
Still, yeah,
really young. And I remember feeling like it was funny because I was such a little like original riot girl, like just so like women can do anything. And then I got stuck somehow in that Southern, 90s mentality where it's like, oh, wait, you're almost 24 and you're not married. And like, I love how I met my ex-husband. Like, I love our story. And I think we were supposed to have Madeline. Although I feel like I would have had Madeline with anybody. But that's what my mom said. I thought that was really sweet.
That is sweet.
Madeline was just meant to be yours. But he was like 21.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so 21 and 23.
How long did y'all date?
Sophomore, junior year.
No, it's even better. We met and got married within 5 months. Wow.
Oh, my parents did that.
So stupid. So dumb. But I got a job offer in Florida and I remember and I was, the goo-goo stages of when you meet someone, you're like all in love. And we lived apart. So he lived in Atlanta and I lived in my hometown in South Carolina. And so we were going back and forth for a little bit. And I don't know, I just got this job offer in Florida. And I was like, I really want to take it, but I'm so in love. And so we just like planned a wedding in like 2 weeks. Let me just say I planned the wedding.
Yeah.
And then we moved. And so, like, we did not know each other. So we did not last long. Yeah, because he left when Madeline was 15 months old. And he moved away. Like, he moved to Atlanta. So it wasn't like he came back into her life. Like, he moved back. But he just wasn't very present for much of her childhood. It just happened so fast.
Yeah.
And I was just so hopeful. And I was, like, so, like, prayerful and sweet. And just like, yeah, it's going to work itself out. And I'm willing to put in extra work. And, you know, getting pregnant was not planned.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, I moved here for a pretty badass job. And, like, immediately got pregnant, guys. Like, my benefits had just kicked in.
You were in Nashville when you got pregnant?
Yes.
Where are you from originally? Oh, at North
Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Okay, got it. Cool. And okay, you had her here, and then you were in book publishing. Didn't you
Yeah, I
say?
moved here to be in book. I was
Got
in
it.
book publishing, but I got a job offer, and it was great pay, great benefits, and like just you can move up the corporate ladder rather quickly.
Cool.
And I did, but I had to quit that job because you can't. I was traveling like every 3 weeks to like New York and DC, and I had this baby, and I don't have any family here. I had no friends, maybe a couple, but like, you know, they were just young and fun and doing all the fun things. But so I was like, I can't have a career and be a single mom. So I pulled the plug on my book publishing career and still got like really good gainful employment, like at, you know, HCA and stuff like that. But yeah.
Gotcha. So when you found out you were pregnant, you were still in a space of like, okay, we're gonna make this work, and we're having a family. And,
Sure.
Okay, gotcha. I didn't know if the move to Florida, if it was like pretty quickly, like, oh yeah, we don't know each other, we're so young. Maybe I don't know what I want.
I did figure out pretty soon after we moved here. I just remember sitting on our back porch one night, and it was like, I don't really love you. I don't love you either. And he goes, but we're married. And I was like, yeah, but like, I don't want my kid to grow up thinking that this is marriage or this is love. This isn't even friendship at this point. Like, this is just kind of shitty.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. Guess what? She didn't grow up seeing that because that would have been awful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's never seen us together. Like, we've only been in the same room together a few times, like a handful of times her whole life.
Oh, wow. Like all three of you?
Yeah.
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 What to you has been the most difficult phase as a parent?
Like when it was just her and Mads?
Yeah. Or not. Yeah, period. Just in general.
It's funny because when you're in a phase, like you don't, and it's your first and it's your only, you don't really have anything to compare it to. And then you don't have a plethora of friends who have children either around the same age. And like I'm the oldest in my family, like even my female, all my cousins are female. And I'm like the one who had the baby first and stuff like that. So it's like I just didn't have a lot to compare it to. And I'm not like a super mom. Like I'm, you know, the one who's like, her whole identity revolves around her kid. And like your schedule might, but like my identity never did. It's like, yeah, I'm a mom. But like, I mean, I think I wrote it down. It's like I come first. Like my identity is just me. And then being a mom is part of it.
Yeah.
But like every phase is unique and every phase is new and every phase is hard or good or whatever. But like I can look back. I remember when I got with Rob and I was like, how the hell did I do that? Like I worked a full-time job, beautiful circle of friends, and y'all all, I mean, just by proxy, it's like we're involved. It's like there's always stuff going on. Somehow managed to make it to enough of it to where I felt like I was involved. Stay involved and like build the connections and keep the connections. But like I really don't know how I did it. I don't know how I had the energy because it's not like I was 22.
Yeah.
Right.
I was well into my 30s. But I look back and I'm like, that was like the best, like the most fun, like ever.
Were you getting like a sitter? Were you able to pay a sitter to get involved, like to help you stay social? Were you putting her down at friends' houses because they were hanging at their house? Were friends babysitting for you? Because you said you didn't have any family here, right?
No family, but I had two friends. Shout out to Shannon Miller, who was one of them. She realized very early on that she was just not going to stay up past 10. And so Shannon was one that would come over and be like, I'll totally watch her while you go to that show. Because shows wouldn't start till 9.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, had been up probably since 5:30 that morning. Was going to have to get up at 5:30 the next day, but I was going to go see Tommy and the Whale. You know? Or whatever band was in town. Dinosaur Jr.
Not going to be dealing with FOMO tomorrow, I tell you that.
That's right. But, and then I had another friend who was getting her master's at Belmont, and I lived in Green Hills. And so she would come over after her night class and spend the night. But that wasn't like all the time.
Yeah.
And I remember I paid for a center one time, and it was like $100, and I was like, "Oh,
you're like, I can't go out ever again."
So I started hosting things at my house.
Okay,
bonfires, and like chili cook-offs and game night, and just people would come over, and that's one of my stories is she would just look at people. They'd be there before 8, like, "Hey, why are you here?" And she's like this cute little redhead with freckles. Like, what? You're not supposed to be here till 8. But she loved my friends, and my friends loved her. But I really tried to keep it separate. You know, but just so she didn't feel like I was like, okay, hurry up and go to bed. I was like, no, we're going to have our nightly routine, and then I'm going to go be with my friends. But I always let her know that was a priority too. She was definitely number one, but they're important too. This is important to mommy's mental health.
Yeah.
Also, I'm going to be hungover tomorrow. Okay, kid. So I got her on the babysitter thing.
Yeah.
And then people started having kids, and it was like, oh, you can bring Mads.
Yeah,
and
you can start to have joint hangs where the kids can entertain each other, and then you can actually like have a drink and a conversation.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yeah. But
that's always the goal. It doesn't mean you're going to get it.
That's right. Yeah, I think I definitely was an OG in that. It's like dragging my kid along to these. We're going to go to this cookout. There's going to be no kids, but there might be a dog.
I drove the pack and play to so many different events. Or like when Ava was little and Jeremy would be doing swing at 3:08, and it would be like 9, and they've just started and no one's really there, and I would put the headphones on Ava like before going home and being like, I don't know, I just needed to feel like I was alive for a second before going back into my cave.
Yes.
And so I'd be like, yeah. I mean, she doesn't have a schedule or school. Like,
that's right.
I can just bring her there for a little bit, and everybody that works there will be happy to see her, and then bounce when it starts to get
a little crazy. I remember those nights.
Like, I don't have done that once with Penny because I don't need it. Like, it's just it's a whole different phase of life now. But at the time, there is this social survival mode that you're like, well, I have to figure out a way to still see people with
and there's
this
no shame in
kid.
that. Yeah, there's no shame in that. How do you navigate that?
Childcare stuff?
Yeah.
Well, my mom is here, and my sister's here, and my brother's here. So that's helpful. My mom's really involved, so she keeps him a lot. And like overnight stuff, like almost immediately we were like, involving her in that. So I guess that answers the question.
That's awesome.
But I was like really hyper about childcare early on, and
like making sure you had a resource.
Yes. And still, even, I mean, I feel like there's like a lot of people that I can reach out to. I mean, like to pay. Although I also was like weird about asking my siblings, really, even though they always offer.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Joy.
Do you have trouble meal planning? Is that a struggle for you?
What?
What's that?
Huh? I do have this. Yeah, no. Yes, I do have that. I have that issue.
Me too. Especially there's like always a one night where we do Blue Apron, but there's always a couple nights a week where we don't have a meal planned. And it's usually a night where we're all trying to eat something together that is affordable and good quality food. And what's a really great solution for that we have for all of you listeners out there?
What?
Is Mr. Aaron's Goods.
Oh, yeah.
And we have an update about Mr. Aaron's, which is that instead of just walking in and picking up your food or getting it delivered, you can actually go in and dine there now. They have new hours. They're open Tuesday through Sunday. You can have fresh pasta, sauces, bagels, schmears, all the specialty goods. They're located at TKO in East Nashville. And they're open 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
weekdays. And then on the weekends, 9 a.m. to noon, or until they sell out.
Yeah.
You can also still order online. And if you do that, you can use code Momcult for 20% off your entire order.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're the best people.
Yeah. They're amazing. Give them your money and they will give you your sustenance. I'd love to hear about the transition from being a single mom to then more into like a stepmother role.
So we met 9 years ago, but we didn't start dating until a year later.
Okay.
Because I refused to date him because he had 3 kids. And I was trying to set him up with other friends because I thought he was wonderful and lovely. I was like, I'm not going to date you. We'll just be friends. But here's so-and-so, and she likes kids.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like kids. I have
Right.
like 8 nieces and nephews, and I
Right.
love all of them. But like,
Just sound complicated.
yeah.
Yeah.
But coming out of middle school
Yeah.
and into high school when we basically started dating and then we moved in together.
And then how old are his kids? What age group are you transitioning to? Like, okay, I've been dealing with this one kid. They're about to transition into high school. Did you kind of have to go backwards because some of them were younger?
A little bit. So Madeline's 21 and she's a junior in college. And then his oldest is 20, but she's also a junior in college.
Cool.
So the girls were trekking at the same grade.
Yeah.
And it's funny, they couldn't be more different, but like they're really good friends. I love their dynamic because they really are so different. And then 17 and a half, and he's a junior in high school, and 15, and she's a freshman in high school.
So they were all pretty much.
Kind
He
of in
didn't
the
also
same.
have like a 3-year-old
No.
thrown into the mix
No.
where you're like, oh, we're going back to
Yeah.
toddler town.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
done. I thought I was done with it.
When we did start kind of pulling the trigger and making it serious and like moving in together, I was like, I can do this.
Yeah.
I've done this before. It's fine. And I come from a blended family. It's like my dad was a single dad of 3, and he married my stepmom, who had 1.
Oh, crazy.
And I love my stepmom.
Yeah.
Like I call her mom, and I'm really close to my parents, all 3 of them. But yeah, so I was like, I can do this. Not that I'm anything like my stepmom. She is lovely. But yeah, I was like, I got this. Who am I kidding?
And if any of this gets like dicey, I just mean like, I want to ask more questions about
Do it.
kids and the complexities of that. But if anything is, just
I think it's healthy to talk about, and I think so many people deal with it. And thankfully, there are a lot of resources out there now. I don't think I knew about that when I first started it.
Yeah.
But like, there's so many podcasts and books, and like, I feel like these women who have these podcasts about blended families and all that stuff, and I hate the term blended because you don't actually blend. It's like a stew. Like, it really is. And it's weird ingredients too. It's like shit you'd never put together. It's like potatoes and carrots make sense, but it's hard. It's tricky, but it's necessary to talk about it because a lot of people are going through it, and it is not fun all the time. It's really hard. And there's really good moments too. But for the most part, it is just very challenging. And I felt very open to it once I did start dating Rob. And his kids are great. Like, they're not spoiled brats. They're like really good kids.
do you think that you'll be involved with them still, or how that will look?
I think I'll always like make myself available. But because they're older,
Yeah,
I
that's what I was
defer
going
to
to
their
say.
preference.
They're like off about to live their own lives too.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
And so
timing.
I'm not going to go over above and beyond and try to stay in contact. I think things naturally just find their way. But I always want them to know that like, I'm a phone call away. If you need some advice or if you just want to say hi.
Yeah.
It's been really hard at the tail end of this to navigate it emotionally because it's like we're just doing the best we can with just me and Rob being in the same house. So you throw the kids in there and they live 50% of the time with us. And it's not like a week on, week off schedule. It's a little bit more serrated than that. So it's like we'll have them for 2 nights and then all of a sudden we won't see them for 5 nights. And then we'll have them for 5 nights and it just gets really confusing and it's exhausting.
Switching gears all the time. Yeah.
So
For someone who might be in that situation where they are going to enter into a blended family situation, as much as people, I feel like these days, try to prepare as much as we can, what's something that you were like, I wouldn't have even thought to prepare for that?
it's funny because it's like you can all be like similar ages and like the socioeconomic whatever, which we were not drastically different, but like you're all Southern or you all speak English, you all you all like funny movies or no one's like a vegan and over here. But I'm not gonna lie to you, you are literally bringing 2 different cultures together.
Yeah.
Dietary preferences, habits and like the nuances of just like me and Madeline. Like I get to look at you and be like, you can go spend the night with Alina and you can do one thing one night, but then the other night's mine because this is my weekend off too. So like I'm not waking her up and taking her at 8 o'clock to do soccer and then do this and then do this. And my whole weekend's not going to revolve around that. It can't. Otherwise I'm just going to flatline. And so I don't think I was prepared for that because their culture that they had, it's not like it was opposite. It was just shockingly different. And Rob really is, for as wonderful as he is, and he's a great dad, it's like the kids really do come first. And I wasn't used to that because it wasn't that way with me growing up. And it's like there's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
It's just what works for each dynamic. And that eventually is kind of the thing that was like...
Yeah.
Two very different routines.
And approaches to parenting and just life in general and how you spend your energy and your time and how you get recharged and stuff like that is just very different.
Yeah.
And so what works for one just doesn't work for the other. But I mean, there's so many funny instances and examples, but it doesn't matter if you think you're pretty similar and you have similar goals. It's like you're bringing just two totally different life experiences and cultures together.
Right. Instead of hashing that out together, growing, like as you're growing up. It's like, no, we're pretty established.
Yeah, because we were in our 40s. And
we're
like,
shove these together.
Exactly. Yeah. And you bring your childhood stuff. And bio families, like you guys are in bio families, you just have so much more. You grow up together. You establish the rules together. You had time alone together with your spouse. And how are we going to raise our kids? What do we believe? What do we like to eat? How do we like to spend our free time? Do we like to watch soccer or do we like to go to the soccer games? Where do we vacation? How do we spend our, nights? And you don't get that when you're joining this late in the game.
Yeah.
So that was shocking.
Yeah.
And hard.
My dad always tells a story. Maybe my mom tells it because she had 3 kids when they met, and then they had me.
Oh, wow.
Like a year after they got married. And they would just talk about, she, among other things, was a biologist, and they would just talk about disgusting things at the dinner table all the time, like freely, like it was nothing. And my dad, the first time he sat down to dinner with them, was like, the fuck? Like, no, this is not okay. And yeah, there's a lot more to that story, but that's what that reminded me of. And I still feel like it feels like, not to say I can't imagine how different that would be, like the merging of 2 cultures. But I feel like with 2 people, even in like a bio family, and we did have the time and whatever, and maybe that's just us because we're just very like staunch in our own, I like this thing. This is the thing that I like. Right. And he's like, I like this thing.
Right.
And some of those things converge, but some don't.
Right.
So I feel like we are always like eternally navigating that.
Right.
Like these, like building our shared culture and things that do mix and things that don't. And I can see how you can work it out, like in a blend, or what are we calling it? A stew family?
It's something. Yeah. I don't know.
Stewed family.
You've heard it here first, folks. There's a new term.
I mean, there's probably like
an amalgamation.
We're scratching blended family.
There's probably a professional term for it. I've probably heard it a million times. I just haven't listened to
I don't know
lately because I just kind of like threw my hands up in the air and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. This is taking way too much of my energy. I just kind of want to get it back on me. That sounds really selfish, but it's like,
no,
I've done my job. Madeline's 21. She's fucking amazing.
Yeah, she's lovely.
And she doesn't live at home. And so like she's gone. And so I just really wanted to feel like an empty nester. And it's like, you can't when you still have 2 kids in the house, even though they're not mine. And I don't actively parent. They have a good mom. She's very involved. I don't have to like take care of them or pick them up or make them do their homework or stuff, but they're still in your ecosystem, your home. You still have to like thaw out meat and meal plan and go to the grocery store.
And also like, Maddie.
Tampons and toilet paper and deodorant. And she is in Chattanooga, and so I'm kind of excited to be in her little, but I'm not. It's funny because one of my really good friends who I adore was like, please don't do what my mom did and just follow me and like want to live through me and da-da-da-da-da. And I just was like, girl, do you know me?
Couldn't if I tried.
Yeah. Madeline's already like, Mom, I'm so excited you're coming to Chattanooga. I'm going to come over all the time. We also have a dog, and she's missed the dog for like 3 years. And so me and Biggie Smalls are going to be down there. And she's like, I'm coming over like every night. And I was like, the hell you are, girl.
Bitch, I'm going to be out.
That's
Make
right.
some friends.
Yeah. And she has this lovely group of friends, and they call me Mama A. And so they're like wanting to do family dinner night. And I'm like, okay.
You're like, no.
Like, you guys
No,
are
I
cooking,
think
right?
Once a
Ordering
month.
pizza?
I think it'd be fun to do like game night.
Yeah.
And they keep you kind of relevant, and like they talk about things that we were not talking about at 19, 20, 21 years old.
Like smarter or not?
I hate the word woke.
Yeah. But that world of stuff.
They really do. Like, they challenge you. It's not just a spirit of rebellion at this age. It's a spirit of like, no, this is really what we think.
They really are questioning, or they really do want more information. Or,
Yeah. It's really impressive and intimidating a little bit. But I'm like, tell me more. And then they ask you questions, and you get to kind of parent a little bit. It's just a different style of parenting.
Yeah.
You still do it. You just do it in a different way.
Well, I didn't realize that where she's in college is where you are also moving.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming some of that is
The
proximity is a part of it, but not.
It's not the reason I'm
main
going down
reason.
there. I actually do love Chattanooga.
I was about to say, just because Chattanooga's awesome.
It's so fun. It's so sweet.
I should work for the tourism board of Chattanooga.
Yeah.
I love Chattanooga.
Come see me. Every time I go down there, I just really like it. And like, when you go to the city, just like I love Miami. Every time I go there, I'm just like happy. And that's how Chattanooga's been to me.
Me
And
too.
I liked
The
it
one time
before
I
she
went.
went to school. But it's also closer to South Carolina. I'm sick of driving 6.5 hours for 22 plus years over the mountains through Knoxville. So this puts me a little bit closer to home without having to move home.
Right.
Because I was like, I don't know if I can just pull the trigger and be back to South Carolina and just be plopped back in my hometown.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want that. So, and because the past few years have been the last her little bit of high school was shared with Rob and the kids, it kind of gives us a little bit of time to get that back.
Yeah.
Without all the teen angst.
Yeah. I know you were saying, I think one of the answers to the questions I saw that you had written, that you felt like for a period of time she kind of got the short end of the stick.
Yes.
Is that the period of time that you're talking about?
She was very age appropriate, like, cool kid, whatever, lying through her teeth. Madeline, if you listen to this,
We know you were lying.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I was also COVID, guys. I mean, it was like a year of not going to school and being around your peers regularly. I mean, the only interaction she was getting was like at her job at Panera, and then it's all kids.
Yeah.
And then, but anyway, it was a really tricky time to be in high school. And also it was tricky to kind of like lose your mom to a certain degree because all of a sudden she's having to share it with 3 kids and then a partner. And those are just different energy levels altogether. And then we're weathering and navigating COVID.
Yeah.
That's a
Different
lot of
age
teenagers
range.
in one house too. God, I've only got one almost teenager, and I'm like, that's plenty.
Yeah.
To have in one house.
And 3 girls too. Lots of hormones, lots of feelings.
3 girls, 1 boy.
3 girls, 1 boy.
And you said that the two, like Madeline and the one that's close to her age, they're good friends. But was there like a lot of tension, or generally with it, or it's just like a lot?
No, it wasn't tension between the kids. We actually, that is one of the blessings that has come out of this, is like all the kids really like each other.
Yeah.
And they all have their own unique connection.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just a really tricky.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine.
I don't know. I just don't think I did it well, but I think I did my best.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's really all you can do. But I think the reason that we've decided to call it is because it is so exhausting on every level.
How does this move feel compared to all your other ones? Like, does this feel like this is going to be close to my last move, or do you feel like Chattanooga is just a stop?
It's a stop
for until the next
It's
phase.
weird because none of this was supposed to happen. It was not supposed to happen this way. I thought I had met my guy and we were going to grow old together. There's a lot of sadness with this one. And I know that the month of February and like probably March is going to be getting resettled in this cute little rental and truly letting myself grieve. because I'm the type of person.
Well, there's been no time to grieve yet because you have all the shit to get done.
And we had the holidays right after.
Yeah.
And so it's like.
You're just going to cry for 2 months straight in Chattanooga.
2 months. And I'm not a crier, guys, but I have let myself like feel it. And it's like these little mini waves. And I'll be like in the middle of doing something really important, like wrapping art or like, you know, what decor goes here and what furniture stays here or whatever. And I'll just like get the ugly face and tears come. And then I'm like, okay, I'm fine. All right, good. But like the old me would not have let myself process it. It's like, no, just suck it up, buttercup. Like, let's go. Good. But I do feel like the first 2 months are going to be like, and then I'm not going to know what to do with myself. Because I'm going to have like
choices
and like my schedule, and then establishing a little bit of a new rhythm with Mads. So that's fun.
Yeah. Are you going to have a job in person there?
I don't know.
Are you online?
What the hell
do you
I'm gonna
like
do?
work? Can you remote work what you're doing? Are you going to just be like, I'm just going to
I don't know.
see what I want to do?
That is something, this sounds so hokey, but I've really been in the hokey headspace and I kind of like it and this shit's working. But it's like, I'm just going to manifest like my dream job. So whatever that, I mean, it has got to be something that brings me joy, because at this age and stage in life, like I'm not wanting to go back and work a job that just absolutely sucks the life out of you. I'm not doing it. So
Do you have any bullet points
for
your
What that
dream
is?
job?
Oh, it'll definitely be something with like design or branding or copywriting. It's just anything that's creative. Like that, you know, I mean, I love working with hotels. And so, I mean, I don't know, I love it all. It's really hard. That's why I was like jack of all trades, master of none. It's like really, really good. It's so many things, but you can't like really boil it down.
Yep.
And my last job was perfect because it literally encapsulated all of my talents. From like, what does the hotel staff wear? What do we listen to in the lobby? What does the lobby smell like? How do we, like, what weird shit are we going to have on the shelves? What's the lighting situation going to be like? What kind of, I mean, it was literally all of that. And so I want to do that again.
So you're going to open a cool boutique hotel in Chattanooga, I guess.
Have you been to the Hotel Chalet?
The
it's
train one you
Yeah,
went
the
to?
train one that I'm like obsessed
The choo-choo?
with. Well, I think there's another one, but this one, maybe it is that. I guess it is. Anyway, yeah, it's in like train cars. You can stay in train cars.
No, but I've definitely seen it.
Yeah. I think, I could be wrong, but I think there are two of them, I think. Because one that I saw doesn't seem, but anyway, this one was very chic and adorable, and
Duly noted.
yeah, it was awesome. So I don't know what those people are doing or if they've got something going on down there, but just for what it's worth.
I mean, yeah, I would love to get back into that. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. I'm excited when I talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm feeling myself. It's been a while. I never thought I would like be a stay-at-home whatever.
Yeah. Joy.
Sarah,
Parker started using a booster seat.
big
and-
moves.
Yeah. And his legs sit slanted down. So I put this breakfast box with his eggs and like Cheerios and stuff in it in his lap on the way to school, which is teaching him terrible habits. But I digress. It spilled on the floor. And I tried to clean it up with my at-home like handheld vacuum. And I was just like, I was never a person before we both worked at Camel Express in marketing department. I was never a person who washed my car, and I didn't understand really the value of it. But the vacuums at Camel Express are bananas. And really,
for car seat grossness.
yeah.
And like when you take the car seat off and move it and all the stuff underneath and inside.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
At each of the vacuum bays, we have glass cleaner infused microfiber towels that you can wipe up that stuff that is underneath the seat.
Or inside the cup holder.
Right. And in about, I don't know, in 2.5 minutes you can go through the whole wash. And then in 5 minutes, because of the power of the vacuums at any of the 5 locations in and around Nashville, you can really like clean your whole car to the level that I am accustomed. I see some people there like really doing it.
Oh, yeah.
But
It's like their thing.
yeah. Yeah. And I get that. I support it. Good job. So if you, Momcult listener, would like to get your first wash at Camel Express for free, just text code MOMCULT to 22322 and we'll send you a free wash on us.
Yeah.
You can't
Just
do that.
for the moms.
Don't tell anybody we said that.
They need a break. They need a break where they can find it.
Yeah. Hey, how was your pregnancy?
Honestly,
How'd
it was
that
easy. I mean, honest to God, and I say this to people, like I've been asked this a few times, but it's like, I just think the universe knew I was going to be a single mom for so long because my pregnancy was a dream. My delivery was a dream.
How'd she sleep?
Oh, that was not a dream. It was like from day one. She had colic.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. And
What?
so
Sorry.
That's okay. It was awful. I don't think I slept for like 4 months, maybe 6. It was like a really long stretch of time. And I only had like 16 weeks off work. Mm-hmm. So I had to go back. And not only did I go back, I remember the girl who worked for me when I was on maternity leave. Bless her heart. I walked back into my office and she looked at me and she goes, "You can have this bullshit." And I was like, she goes, "I don't see how you do it." And I was like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And she was like, "This is just an awful job."
And you were like, "I'm so happy to be here."
And I was like, "This is great. I've had like 2 hours of sleep." But it was just funny. She like turned around and handed me like a stack of files. And I was like, "Oh." And then I got promoted like immediately from getting back to like from maternity leave. And so I just remember having to step up my game. Also first time mom. And like, what is this? Your milk is just drying up. Your marriage is falling apart. She wasn't sleeping. So needless to say, not only did I lose all my baby weight really quickly, but I was like, I don't know, like 25 pounds or something. And like my hair is falling out. It was bad. But my pregnancy was great. My delivery was awesome.
Okay, I feel like the overarching theme here is that you are,
Hanging on by a thread.
no, not.
The name of the
No, it's
name
not.
of this.
You are an incredibly positive person. And
thank
I
you.
love that energy. And I didn't realize that. And I knew that you, when I say like bright light, I felt this warmth and stuff, but I
was really
didn't
sweet.
realize what it is. It's that you are so positive and it's so good. It's so good to be around. Sad you're leaving.
Thanks.
We could
See ya.
have actually been friends.
You can call me anytime, guys.
But were you always like that, or did being a mom or like having to like get your shit together and like be, were you always, because I also am thinking like you're kind of a taskmaster. It seems like you're very organized. You're like executing shit. Like, yeah, type A.
Yeah.
So I guess were you just like that? Two questions.
It's so funny you say that because when I go back home and I'm like hanging out with my parents, we always talk about our personalities and stuff. And it's like, I want to be the relaxed, laid back, fun one. And I can be. It's someone else is making the decisions and like the plans or whatever. For the most part, I like to I'm type A. Control freak, maybe? I don't know. I like to know that shit's done and it's done well and it's done right. And then you can relax. As far as the positivity, I think I don't know. I think I've always been kind of like playful and fun and, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to answer because I remember going through a season, and this was mostly when I was single and like dating here in Nashville. Oh, so fun. That's a whole other podcast
Dating
too.
in Nashville, yeah.
We can mix that one with the
We've had a couple of
bands.
people that would like to be on the Dating in Nashville
Yeah.
episode.
Please sign me up. Please sign me up. So many fun stories. But I think I got cynical. And then sarcasm is like a defense mechanism. So you can be funny and sharp. But one of my best friends is a therapist, and she is the most positive, sweetest, gentle person. And she will call me out. And like years ago, she's like, "You're just cynical, and it's not becoming. Like it's not who you truly are." And so I think you have to kind of catch yourself when you're in those seasons of like, fuck. And then really lean into who you truly are. And who I truly am is a warm, generous, fun. I love to have a good time. I love to laugh. I love to encourage people. I want to ask you questions. I want to see how you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And I think most people in my community would probably say that. But I'm also a terrible realist.
Yeah.
I can be the person who's like, I'm not going to butter that up for you or, slap some sugar on it. Like, let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
But then we can talk about it.
Yeah. But
It doesn't mean you can't get it, but like it's going to take some real hard work
That's
to
right.
actually get there.
But it seems like then you see what's positive about that, like that's what I'm
Reframe.
watching you do. You just to reframe like anything, and not like, oh, it's all this terrible stuff and you're reframing it. That's not what I mean. Because I feel like I would listen later and think like, did I sound like I was saying that? I'm not. Positive or negative. Yeah. It seems like you just find Find the positive.
Find the positive. 'Cause
Pivot,
there's
baby.
so much shit out there. And I mean, yeah, I could be a real asshole for what's happened to me, but let's reframe what happened for me. It makes the biggest difference. It literally like changes your neural pathways. And that's what this whole year has been about. Because I mean, I could be like a blob of just shit right now.
And I think too, I don't want to be a victim.
No.
Like I remember when I got pregnant with Penny, even though we had actively been trying for a handful of years at that point, I had a couple days of being like, well, my life is over, and all these things that I've been kind of working towards are all going to get put on hold, and being very sad for myself and pouty, and then I was just like, or I could be like a mom that I would see on Instagram and think, that mom is just like crushing it. Yeah. Like she chose this, she wants this, she wants to do both. And maybe the ways to get there the steps won't be as big as you want them to be, or the changes you make might not be as drastic, but like I have a second chance.
That's right.
To do this in a way that I wish I like take all the things I learned from the first time and implement them the second time around. And I feel like for the most part that has stuck. I had like a through line to be like, I'm going to have another kid, but I'm not not letting go of
who I am. That's
and
right.
Whereas the first kid kind of helped develop
That's
more
right.
of who I am.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, just like holding on to that for dear life through the second one.
It's so important. That's what I mean.
Yeah. It seems like a cornerstone of everything that you've done as a mom is like maintaining your identity. And also like, it sounds to me like you could have chosen various paths in this moment, and you've chosen one that like maybe will take you towards your greatest happiness, and it's also not the easiest one. And
so not.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean to be like, I don't know, a greeting card, but that is how I feel.
No, that's how it feels. And that's really what helps me like put one foot in front of the other these days, is because like you can look at what all you're walking away from. I mean, 8 years is a long time to love someone, and 9 years with this person being in your life. And then getting to live a totally different lifestyle than I ever thought I would get to live. I mean, it's been really good on a lot of levels, but very, very hard as well. But like, who does that at almost 48? Mm-hmm. Like, who really wants to be single at that age and move to a totally different city and establish a whole new ecosystem and stuff? But I can look at the logic or lack thereof and just be like, that's crazy. You've been here 22 years. Like, you love your friends in Nashville, and like, you know, all your network is here. Like, if you do start looking for a job. But then there's that part of me that will forever be curious and be like, why didn't I take the step forward? I know that's what I want to do, and just be brave and do it.
Yeah.
Like, you have given Nashville its time, and it's only for a year. I signed a year-long lease. If nothing else, and Chattanooga doesn't turn out to be like what I, like the best city in the world, I can always come back here. I have a house here. I own a house in Inglewood.
Oh, yeah, and you'll keep it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or I sell it and move maybe to a different city.
Yeah.
Maybe I end up in Portugal.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about being an empty nester and being single.
That's also the part that you're terrified of is also the part you're most excited about.
Exactly. Yeah. I get to be the author of my own life and tailor my existence the way I want it to. And it's not contingent upon anyone else.
Yeah.
Or anyone else's children or schedule or means. So it's like, I don't think I've ever been here as an adult, like a fully functioning human being,
Right.
Like, I mean, it's kind of exciting. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, reframing. Everything's a reframe.
Yep.
I'm actually really, really excited. I'm glad y'all asked, because it's been like packing up all your shit and splitting it up and just being like, this is so sad.
Yeah.
Why am I taking all the spices? I should leave him some.
Leave him the coriander.
Dude, it is that level of detail with me. And I had a friend call me who's going through something similar. And I was like making a list. Like, I took the NyQuil, so he needs to replace it. Like, making a list for him. Spices and oils and, I mean, all the things and stuff. And she was like, quit doing that. That's like one more job. that you're putting on your plate, and you've already got enough to do. And like, he's a grown-ass man. He can figure that out himself. Like if he goes and he's like, oh, we don't have any balsamic vinegar. It's like, or Tylenol. She goes, he will figure it out. He's a grown-ass man. And if he's not, it'll help grow him up a little bit. And he'll appreciate you. I was like, you're right. But I'm still thinking it as I'm packing up because I'm a nice person. So it's like, I want to make this as easy on him as possible too, but I'm not willing to make it harder on myself.
Right.
You know, actually, a friend was leaving her partner, and like we're talking about what she was doing to pack up and clean up and stuff, and how like that would never happen in this case. Then the dude hadn't done like the same stuff, and I was like, that is how a woman leaves. Like this is not like you're not. I don't know. It's not your first relationship. You know, that's just yeah. It's like not like you need to do that. I'm not putting that on you. I'm just saying like. That's what we do. We just...
We're organized, and we're, for the most part... And I'm not angry. I'm not, like, seething over here, like, you know, screw this. There's not a whole lot of hatred or resentment or anger or whatever. I think it felt worse earlier. But now that there's a sweet closing, it's almost like you see a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. I had a dream a couple months ago or whatever, and I dreamed I was on a bus, and I'm like really happy and like driving. It's like through Italy or something, like somewhere gorgeous. And Rob's on the bus, and he has this beautiful like strawberry blonde person beside him, and she's just real, you know, she's cute and has a great little personality. Her name's Janice.
Oh, she sucks.
You knew her name in the dream?
It's so weird. And so, well, no, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be her name.
Janice,
but
are you listening?
Janice, are you out there? But I just remember she had really pretty hair. And there's like several people on the bus, like several friends. And I remember him going, I want you to meet my new girlfriend, Janice. And so we've had so many fun jokes about like, dude, you got to get prepared for Janice. Like make sure you up the therapy.
Get your stuff ready.
Order some new, you know, underwear, like some socks,
Get that
whatever.
balsamic vinegar stocked up.
I know. It's so funny because I always refer to her as Janice. And so he started referring to my future mate as Gary. So Gary, if you're out there listening to the Momcult Podcast. So we can laugh about it. It's like, I think we'll be fine. We'll see. Have me back in 6 months.
Yeah. I mean, surely most of the hardest stuff has already happened or is currently happening now. And you're like, you know, almost to the other kind of side of the mountain as far as you together and physically getting everything separated and everyone where their new lives are about to start. Right. Not that the grief won't obviously hit, but
I think it's before any breakup, and this could go for any, I mean, I'm sure several people have been through them. It's just the time leading up to it, unless it was just a shocker, you know, it blindsided you. But it's like, am I going to call it? Am I going to call it? I don't know. I feel like I should call it. And then you're waiting for them to call it. And then it's like, I'm the person who will call it. And I'm the person who just was like, let's call it a day. We've tried for a long time.
Yeah.
And we love each other. And I just remember I said, let's call it a day. But before then, we were like, let's give it a year and really do the work and, you know, all the things and stuff. But 6 months into that, it was like, well, it's time to call it a day. So, I mean, kudos for me for being brave.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a real badass move. It really is.
Yeah. It's mutual and amicable. So here we are. Y'all pray for me. Shout out to therapy and podcast and martinis.
Yes. Do you do olives? Like blue cheese stuffed olives?
No need to fancy that shit up.
Yeah.
Just give it to me.
Just the reg olive.
Just simple. Well, inevitably you always bite into a blue cheese olive and it's like turned. Like, oh God. You know? And I'm not willing to risk that.
Yeah.
I don't like blue cheese enough.
I wish I could be like, I don't know, adult enough to be on the blue cheese train, but I'll never be able to do it.
I don't want to drink my cheese.
That's true. Yeah, that sounds.
Yeah, no. I just want to eat them.
Yeah.
I don't even drink martinis, like a blue cheese olive.
You're missing out.
Yeah. No, I might. Vodka just always makes me cry, but maybe, you know, I'll move back into that.
Why is that the truth? Gin turns me like mean. Like I'll start having some real strong talks after like 3 Negronis. It's like, you're really going to get what Ashley Earnhardt thinks. I had to not drink gin or whiskey for a while. It's so true.
I wish we had time to hit up some Millionaire Matchmaker talk before I have to go.
Oh, is that your thing?
No. That was just something she mentioned in her. She was like, I don't watch anything but
Patty Stanger.
She had
I had it
something
on in the background because I got snowed in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
And I just was like,
Snow.
I was listening to music and whatever, but I'm like, no, I just want to turn on some trash TV.
Yes.
I love Millionaire Matchmaking.
And I was,
You do?
Yeah,
I was
so
like
funny.
I haven't
taken
watched it
aback.
forever, but it's
I was just taken aback at like the concept of the show and then the people that are on it.
Yeah.
It's just shocking.
my
it's just
favorite
shocking.
is like one lady that showed up and got out of the car, and he's like standing at the hotel door or whatever to meet her, and she just gets back in.
No way.
I think she even like left a shoe.
No.
It's like an accidental bad Cinderella story.
Bye.
Oh my god.
I kind of want to go on it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not a millionaire, but you know.
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh, thank you. I was just about to say it. Manifesting.
I think Patty Stanger would love you. I think maybe that's your next. Well, no, she seems difficult.
She
funny,
does.
But, yeah.
She does. I think it'd be fun to host a reality show though. I just said reality show. I don't know if I'd be great at it, but like it really would be fun
Yeah.
to like do something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll start one in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
They could use
can-
one.
Yeah.
We'll see. I need to probably watch a little bit more trash TV though.
Yeah, I was about to
Yeah,
say,
do
yeah,
research.
I can
Sarah
send you a
can
list.
do all the research for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Listen, I've got the list ready.
Yeah. Anyway, I suck at pop culture. Like I said, I don't know what's cool, and I don't.
Perfect. We don't have time anyway, so it
Oh,
works
hey,
out.
we just did it. That was the whole thing we do
Awesome.
anyway.
Awesome. Thank you for your time.
Good luck in Chattanooga. We're happy for you.
So happy for you.
Open doors for all my Nashville people.
Very
and I mean
exciting.
that.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time. You definitely win for
Yeah. An
taking
opportune moment to-
taking an opportune moment to make it here.
I needed the
Talk with
smile.
us.
I needed this.
Good.
You're welcome, but I also needed to get out of the house
Yeah.
and to have like, hey, I'm human.
Yeah.
Look at this. This feels nice. I have a reason to put on a bra, Joy. Thank
There
you.
you go. You're welcome.
Yes.
Get that bra
and
on, girl.
mascara. It's not a very good one, but it's still one. Qualifies as one.
Looks great.
Thanks.
It's really great.
Thank y'all so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you.
People can follow you and your new journey chapter.
My shitty Instagram account where
yeah.
I never post.
Is it at Ashley Earnhardt?
No, it's at This Is Earnhardt.
That's right.
And Earnhardt is spelled just like the race car driver. So you can Google that.
That's Dale Earnhardt.
That's right. That's
Dale.
my cousin.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think I knew
R.I.P.
that.
wow.
Did you?
Buried the lead.
Well, that's
Did you know that?
No.
every time I've gotten pulled over, knock on wood, which hasn't been much in my officer.
You get out of it?
Genetic predisposition to reckless driving and speeding.
And do you get out of it, the ticket?
Yes.
Every time. They love it.
I've even
They
been asked
love
for
that
my
job.
autograph, which
man.
is so weird.
So jealous.
They're like, wow.
They're like, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, sweetheart. I'm like,
That's
thank you, officer.
amazing.
Also being very kind helps and charming.
What is he to you? What
Like
family
a distant
member?
cousin.
Okay.
It's not really that
Okay.
cool of a story. I've never hung out with them, but
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's so cool to say.
The thing that you do with the cops, that's a good story.
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely
you gotta,
worth it.
You gotta play it somehow.
You can follow us at Momcult Podcast on Instagram, and you can listen at themomcult.com or anywhere you get your podcast. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.